Hello and welcome to another edition of Mailbag. What is Mailbag? Well, Mailbag is a feature of the channel where you guys leave lots of comments on the channel and I attempt to answer those comments, or if I can't answer those comments, I throw it out to you guys who have more knowledge on some of this stuff than I do. So let's get into the first mailbag of this session. Remember, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Go over to Instagram and follow me there. Go over to Facebook, follow me there. That's where the normal notices are. And consider becoming a Patreon. Next comment question comes from Antonio Rizzo. And this is in response to a video I did, which was MUSE Receptor, Revenge of the Clone Part 1, a video series I did starting in January 2022. And Antonio writes, "Hi, I need some advice. I live in Italy and have a MUSE Receptor 2, which no longer allows me to use some of the libraries. Is it possible to restore the Receptor 2 to the initial performance?" I think he means the initial factory set. Thanks. Hi, Antonio, originally in Italian. Right, that's me that's written it. It's originally in Italian, so if it didn't translate quite right, that's because I don't speak Italian and had to use a translator. And this response is in English, by the way. Although it might not sound like it's in English. Now, I am sure there are some Linux experts out there that may be able to advise on this. To summarise, you have a MUSE Receptor 2, you can no longer access some of the installed libraries and want to put the receptor back to the base factory Pro settings. Now, my initial thoughts of not being able to access the libraries means that either a file has become corrupt, possibly the file holding the license key, and if this is how those particular libraries are licensed, because a number of them were licensed with a security code that you put into the software when you loaded the software, and once you put that security code in, then it will then store a encrypted file on the hard drive. So that possibly could be one of the things. But with the appropriate expert, you may be able to navigate to the correct directory and rewrite that file. Now, if you reset the receptor back to factory, then my understanding of this process is that you will need to reinstall the OS. And this may mean reinstalling the OS operating key, and unless someone has an ISO of the Pro image they can share, that might be a bit difficult. Unfortunately, I do not have a Pro. I have images of the complete Receptor Rev C, and I also have the normal Receptor Rev C images, but I don't have images of a Receptor 2 Pro. Now, there may be images on the internet in one of the user groups that you can tap. There is a user group, a Facebook user group for MUSE Receptor, that if you are polite and answer their questions, they may allow you to join, and then you can ask some of those experts, because they really are knowledgeable on a lot of this stuff. A lot of them seem to be sort of kind of down and dirty into the Linux. So, you know, where you are actually having to write Linux subcommands to do stuff, these guys might be able to help you out on that stuff. Next comment or question comes from 5 Star Studio. In response to recurring questions on the MX-1, Roland MX-1 questions, released in November 2021. And 5 Star Studio writes, "Hi, thanks for this very informative video." Well, thank you for the feedback. "I have the MX-1 and I just purchased the Roland SE-02, and I've tried to connect it to one of the I think it's USB ports on the back of the MX-1 area host ports. I've tried all 4 area ports and I'm still unable to get the MX-1 to start the SE-02 using the USB cable. I've tried several different USB cables. The SE-02 is set to Omni. What is weird is I can actually get the SE-02 to start the MX-1, but for the life of me I can't get it the other way round. Your help will be much appreciated." Now, I don't own a Roland SE-02, so I can't comment on the specifics because I don't know them. But these are my thoughts on what might be causing the issue. First of all, does the SE-02 have the ability to turn off the ability to receive start-stop messages? Because if it does, and this feature is included in a number of the boutique instruments in the ARIA and boutique ranges, should I say, and while this is not a boutique as it was developed by another team, it does have the same form factor and many may follow this same principle. If this feature is not turned on, then that could be explaining what's causing your problem. Now, looking through the documentation for the SE-02, there is a feature called sync, which tells me the SE-02 tells the SE-02 which clock it should be set to. And if you are trying to start and stop it from the MX-1, then you need to be set to the MX-1 clock. So this either needs to be done through the MIDI in, so a MIDI out of the MX-1 into the MIDI in of the SE-02, so that it recognises the MIDI messages. It's a quirk, as we know. ARIA instruments require a factory reset from time to time to degremlin themselves, and this could also be an issue that you're experiencing. Sorry I can't be more detailed on that, but they're the kind of places I would start in my troubleshooting guidelines.